Okay, so here we are in Urban Sprawl again, and the pink player just took his turn, moves on to the green player. Pink player had this as his favor. He did not take any cards here. He spent everything to grab planning cards, not just to build this, but also to enact its effect. And it was quite powerful, actually. He built this tech manufacturer up here, which got him, a little bit of power with the police chief. Got him some cash too, not a lot. Much, much more expensive. I mean, this was 12, 15 bucks to build. But it gave him a factory 4. Now, he's, I think, the only person with factories. Yeah, so he picked up his 3rd factory and grabbed 12 prestige for that. And then he's allowed to discard a build permit in order to gain wealth equal to its payout. That was 12 bucks. And prestige equal to the permits on the card. That was only the 1. But, it seemed worth the action to do that. He actually wasted an action point as opposed to some of the other players who've usually tried to fill one out. He could have grabbed this. He decided, I'm probably not really all that interested in building it. So, for the first time, we saw someone not use all their actions. They couldn't have grabbed just a planning card. Some cards came out. There were a couple elections. Police chief, union boss, which he won again, and mayor, which he took from the black player. Now, the black player did get the contractor, though, as he's fallen behind. Pink pulled ahead of the rest of the trailing part of the pack. Going to be on the green player. Everybody's got a little bit of cash. Even green. He has a small handful here. He's going to try to decide how to get the most cards out of here. And that's one of the reasons this was left up. It's harder to build than if he was moving these forward. It takes more action points to collect up the contracts to put it in play. And he thought it was kind of a cute idea to leave a mess up there. Okay, we're near the end of green's turn, but you got the redraw event, so I want to catch what happens before I shuffle the cards up. Grab the Union Hall out of a space here, again trying to push things forward. The best move he could do, basically, in terms of being able to actually buy something. Everything else, but he barely managed this. I think anything else would have been almost impossible. He could have fired off his substation, which would be cool because that would produce a lot of prestige for him. But he's more interested in ending the game than trying to gain that prestige right now. He's got a good lead. So, built that, and I'm trying to remember what he did. He did not use, he was going to use an urban renewal, but he couldn't. He was going to replace this black unit. Black has the contractor, so that couldn't happen. So he built it up here. Not a lot of bonus. There was a red building here. It's gone now. So he got a couple prestige off that. Generated some money from the industry that existed, which he needed money, but actually gave the overall prestige bonus to Pink, who's his closest competitor at this point. We had a bunch of events. Master of Industry, player with most industry gets a bonus. That was everyone except white. Urban Decay, the military base that was here, ended up being abandoned. Nobody wanted to pay prestige to maintain it. Community leader. The most valuable property. This was a Pink property. He had to move the 12 marker, though, out of the line that he really liked. He put it up here, which is good, but it's not as bonus for him. Of course, if he could get a prestige marker here, he'd be happier than he would be with the cash marker. And then after that, we get the local headlines. The most valuable building, which turned out to be this block. And because it's green's turn, he chose white, gave him the money and prestige, pushed him just ahead of black there. And the military base actually fully disappeared at this point, and now we got to reshuffle. I'll come back if there's anything exciting, because there's still a card from there and a card from there that have to be drawn. There's a payout that was generated here, went to Pink as the bigger winner of it. An election that went for district attorney. which landed in this space. You've seen a shift of power away now that that 12's gone. And that meant that the district attorney went over to pink as well. So now he's collected all the offices. He's in second place. He may have a shot just because of that combination on everyone else. Black kept the contractor. There's one office left, the treasurer, lots of money from that. And then one more payout on the 6th space, which is down here, and that was split between pink and black. Alright, well, this was green's turn, so now we shift over to black. Well, things are getting kind of weird. Black was in the interesting position where they could not build this. There just weren't enough blue available for them to. That's what they really wanted to because of that big transportation 7, and they have 1. And we'll get the second one here, 14 prestige, whatever. So instead they built the card on top of the town deck. Now that's 6 action points. Had to spend their own thing. They built it on top of a pink building though, and got quite a bit of prestige off of it, jumping themselves kind of into the running a little bit further. They also got a lot of cash off of it. Now it was not a cheap building to build, to tell you the truth. Oh no, it wasn't bad. It only cost them $5, and it was in almost a outstanding, oh no, 12 more, 17 bucks, sorry. But it was in an outstanding location, and they got a lot of prestige off of it for that. So that was kind of cool for them. Nothing exciting actually came up from it, just this motel. But now we move the turn forward. And now we're at the end of the turn. And to tell you the truth, it's the end of the night for me. I'll come back tomorrow, but I want to talk a little bit about what happened on White's little turn. They bought the luxury hotel from here, which means it's a Metropolis card they took, thereby shortening the game a little bit. It's a matter of that or nothing, basically. They could grab some blues to try to build up towards their construction firm that they do want to get, or something, but that was really the only card that made sense for them. And they constructed it up here, which is a pretty good location. Not cheap, but not terribly expensive at 15 bucks. Give them a tourism marker, which helped both them and green with a prestige. And then all Civ locations got $4 each, so every player with Civs got extra money. But then they had to pay for their politicians and contractors, and that was, 16 bucks pink had to pay, only 8 from black. But still, it gave him a nice wash of money between that and his holding in the Civs, which was another 12. He was a little short on money. That helped his situation tremendously. There was a payout on what? Small payout on this. And that's about it. All right, well, I'll pick this up again tomorrow. Okay, well, pink got their turn, and it's been a massive turn so far. I haven't finished it yet, but let's see what happens. Well, I have. The first thing that happened was they bought the television station. Now this was a Metropolis card taken from the center, from over here. It was the only thing they could build, and they really wanted to build because they were holding a combination of the police chief and the district attorney. Now the district attorney doubles the neighborhood bonus for the first contract you build, and the police chief gives you both cash and prestige when scoring. So that was kind of a cool double whammy there. They paid a lot for the location. This was over here at the time. It's moved since. They paid, what, 11, 14 bucks to place here, but they got 1, 2, 3 adjacencies, which meant they got $6 and 6 prestige. Sounded good. Great. Well, that was all their action points, actually, because they had to pull two building permit cards in order to build that. They took the media I don't know what they're called, vocations, yeah. They took the media for that, but here's the hugest thing, perhaps. They got $4 for each civ, and they're a civic area. There's 11 civic areas in here. So that was 44 bucks. We haven't seen a payout like that in one big lump sum, and it looked like, oh wow, I'm gonna have a lot of money to do stuff with. Well, that was 3 cards that had to be replaced, and we see a number of events happened. First one's local celebrity, allowed the green player with the most prestige to move the 6 marker. They moved it from here to here. That gave them back into a bonus position. They actually have the advantage there. Prime real estate, you counted non-park buildings, I think green next to parks. I think green won that as well. $3, 3 prestige, whatever. Career opportunity, vocations. You had to pay $1 for each vocation, but for each of those bucks you paid, you got a point of prestige. So a lot of prestige moved forward, especially pink, actually. They gained a couple points on green there. Urban decay, the least valuable building was determined. That was a black, that was going to be one of these, and these are what these little markers are for. I haven't used them all game. There's no explanation in the rule, but they're a way to mark where the high valued property is, or highest valued block and lowest valued block are. And there's 3 of them because, well, there should actually be 4, I would assume, because there could be 4 blocks that count as 2 highest, 2 lowest, but 3 is probably sufficient. They're probably adjacent to each other, so you can kind of put them on a borderline if that's the case. It may be possible that you actually need 3 or 4 counters, but in this case it wasn't the matter. People could bid prestige for that building. Nobody saw it as worthwhile. It's not even in a valuable location. At this point it's in a 6-point location, so, and very little of that prestige. It was in a more valuable location before, but it's an industry in the middle of a commercial district, right downtown. Not a great thing. I think that's probably the substation, actually. And then, coming off the Metropolis deck, the game ends. Now, I haven't done the final scoring here. What that's going to be is each prestige row is scored 1 final time. Now, money doesn't get scored, even though it would have, it could kind of count towards the end. For whatever reason, we just score the prestige rows. There aren't a lot of those. Just 1 through 3 and 6. I don't know why 4 and 5 never got placed. I'm assuming there are cards somewhere in the deck that do that. Haven't seen them. And then end of game bonuses for politicians. An interesting thing, we had a couple of elections in there. The Treasury went over to the pink player, but because of the movement of this chit, the police chief, and I'm not sure this was correct. It may not have been supposed to go there. Let me see where our high value is. Our high value would be here. Yeah, police chief should have gone to white, I think. No, maybe not. That's only 618. I gave it to the wrong person. I don't think anything beats that. So white got the police chief. I counted it for the wrong city, I think, or wrong space, but whatever. It ended up in the right hands, I believe. All right, so I'm going to score those final points, and I'll come back with the wrap-up. Okay, so before scoring the final prestige round, it looked like pink was gaining some ground, and maybe their money would make a difference. But then after that, we see greens pulled away a little bit, in part because that big 6-point prestige went to them, and everyone else got like 1 off that one, and pink got 2 here. So they gained some definite ground there. Now let's look at the money situation. White has 30 something, so they go up 3. Black has 40, so they go up 4. Oh, I forgot to move the contractor, but I think it stayed with black. Green has 30, so they get 3. But here's the biggie. Look at all that money that pink has there. 60, 70, it's actually 80. It's not going to be enough, but it does put them back right up there almost. All right, well, what we saw actually is that, and I mentioned this a little earlier, at some point or another, you have to stop trying to get money. You have to start factoring in the victory points a little earlier than I thought it was going to break at. Money always seemed tight for the green player, but they managed, by maybe eking out a few more prestige points, to get themselves in a position where they stayed ahead for a long time. I thought you'd need more economic power in order to control things. And there's so many different little options to optimize your point scoring, and you do have to get your economy running as well to maintain your ability to generate points. So I think there's a lot of different options, a lot of different little ways to go about trying to win the game, as it were. And we see there's some randomness in terms of when it ends. You don't really know when it's going to happen. I certainly was shocked by this. I actually thought there was more of the Metropolis deck. You know, it looks like there's a significant amount still left, and it's just kind of shocking how soon it can end. All right, well, I'll be back with a review in a little bit, but we'll get this one loaded up.